This episode of Liberty Lampoon is brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/Liberty Lampoon and get a free audiobook along with your free 30-day trial. Go to audibletrial.com/Liberty Lampoon. This is episode number 13 with Michael and Aaron. Host of the Seeds of Liberty and co-host on the Freedom Feens, Jeremy Henggeler is here. So that's cool. Oh, the tears of unfathomable sadness. Good God. You're listening to Liberty Lampoon, where we lambaste politicians, public figures, policies, and print, all from a libertarian perspective. Jeremy Henggeler is here. Yeah.
Yeah. Jeremy Henggeler.
But Michael's voice isn't here, apparently. So he will be stepping out for that interview. So.
Yeah, my voice is after an exciting Oklahoma football game and celebrating the victory afterwards. I'm not in tip-top shape.
Yeah, Michael blames his poor audio voice on. Well, I guess it could be sexy, couldn't it? Couldn't you make it sexy technically?
Well, do you like a smoky voice? You have to ask
well, anyways.
yourself.
We got a quick update. We need to do this quick update. Okay, so.
Yeah.
I got to ask you, Michael, which is worse, the tears of the liberals or the hero worship of the right? This is just insane.
Ooh. Well, currently, I'd probably say the tears of the distraught leftists. So.
Yeah, I think that I would agree with that, mainly because, they're out on the streets burning shit.
Yeah.
I heard Dave Chappelle, he was on SNL last night, and he said that it's funny because him and all his black friends are looking at the TV watching white people burn shit in Portland, Oregon.
Yeah, I saw that.
And he's like, we heard that there was $1 million worth of damage, and we're like, get real, amateurs. That's pretty good.
Yeah. He was pretty funny. I liked his joke about all his black friends who were like, "Hey, we're leaving the country. You coming with us?" And he's like, "No, I'm gonna give this lower tax rate a try. See how that works out."
and then he like made a point about Obama, about when Obama, he's like, "We're gonna work together," and he's like, "Oh, damn, bitch! I just got this money." That was pretty funny. It's weird though, like seeing all these people walking around with their signs that say "Not my president." We're over here sitting.
He's
here
actually
like,
not president yet, so.
Well, yeah, but on top of that, we've been sitting here like, where have you been for the last 20 years? Jesus Christ, get with the picture. We've been saying that for the last 20 years.
It's bugging me too that like on or at least on Fox News, they keep calling the riots in Oregon anarchy. And I'm like, it's not anarchy, dudes. I mean,
right.
Probably the best description is like mayhem or chaos,
because they're
not anarchy.
Yeah, because they're like, we want our version of authoritarianism. Give us we want our king, please. We just want our king. But it's weird, Occupy Democrats posted last year in January, quote, "Openly defying and brazenly disrespecting your president while hoping he fails isn't patriotism, it's treason." You gonna eat that soup or what? I mean, this is what happens when you give presidents too much power. Eventually somebody else becomes
bites
president.
You in the ass.
Yeah. So now instead of us getting tased in the butthole and shot outside of Oregon wildlife preserves, maybe it's going to happen to you. No, but see, that's why like I love libertarianism so much, is because we've been saying this whole time, dude, stop giving these people power,
because they're gonna turn around and use it right back on you.
Yeah, you're gonna get tased in the butthole this time.
Now look what's happening, folks. Look what's happening. My second biggest beef too is like, okay, so like the right media like try to paint Trump during the campaign as like this like moral upstanding character that he wasn't, that he's actually not, and he never really has been.
Right.
And then when the grab him by the pussy thing came out, everybody's like, "Oh my god!" Like the right was freaking out, and it's because they painted him to be something he's not. Now that he's actually won the election, they're doing it again, and they're painting him to making him out to be something that he's not, and some like Jesus Christ of American citizens.
Yeah.
And something is going to happen, and they're going to be like, well, he's not perfect, and blah, 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 and
yeah, there's like pictures of him with like crosses layered over it in the background, like, thank you, Jesus, thank you so much, Jesus. But anyways, the sheer amount of protest and anger, they're going to change. That will change the results of the electoral college by 0. So. Yeah. Look, I get the anger, but nothing was going to be different. I mean, either of these people was a bad choice. And really, Trump just, he said today that he's going to keep most of the Affordable Care Act. So, I mean, what do you have to worry about, really?
And now these people beating, like, you've seen the videos online of people beating up people who voted for Trump. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, a pregnant woman with a baseball bat. They beat up a pregnant woman.
You're not helping your case. You're not helping your case.
Yeah. Those Trump voters are like, let's make it 8 years. We were just going to settle, but let's go ahead and make it 8. What I do take a lot of joy from is the tears coming out of Hollywood. I mean, fuck those guys. Really, stop inserting yourself. Actually, I think he got elected in spite of those people, Nobody likes your shit. And just one more thing to close out this whole season of rabid statism. To the people who sat silently while Bush and Obama seized more executive authority but are now all upset that Trump is going to use it, here's a middle finger for you. To the conservative Christians who elected this obviously hedonistic Democrat but claim it's God's choice, here's a middle finger for you. To the Democrats who called conservatives and libertarians lobbying for secession racists but out now in the streets saying, not my president, Kale exit, let's get California and Oregon out of the United States, here's another middle finger. To all of the statists in general who want to use the power of the state to address or aggress against your neighbor, here's a big middle finger to salute you, you piece of shit. Doesn't matter either way. Those in power will make someone's life a living hell. Hey, here, you want the soapbox back? Here you go.
If all these people just came to the side of liberty and feel the warm sensation of freedom rush over them, Aaron wouldn't have to stand on a soapbox so much. But
I really want to come down from the
look
soapbox,
where we are,
guys. Get me down from here, folks. Jesus Christ. All right, here's Jeremy Henggeler, guys. I wonder what's going on my Facebook feed.
It has to be a joke. I do not believe this is happening. I'm literally about to fucking kill myself, and I'm not kidding. You better fucking fix this shit right now. I literally am gonna die. I need an ambulance. I can't believe.
Done with Facebook for the day. All right, so I've got Jeremy Henggeler. I'll put some emphasis on that. From Seeds of Liberty and the Freedom Feens fame. And here to talk to, fame. Well, you're at least micro-famous. And
micro-famous. And it's funny, I mean, I'm sure I know the Feens are known, but I always feel that I run into so many people who are like, I've never heard of you guys before. I'm like, listen. We're not, it's like we're huge, but we are the only, we're one of only 2 libertarian and the only Michael calls us the anarcho-capitalist podcast, although most of us, I don't think actually identify as anarcho-capitalists.
Right.
I know I don't. I know MK doesn't. I don't think Diana does. I'm not sure about some of the others. I don't think Lou actually does. I think Lou's just leave me alone.
Yeah, right. What isn't that like Ernest Hancock lingo or whatever? Leave me alone. Leave me alonist. I think that's what Ernie's is. Which is great. Funny. I love it. That's me too. I'm gonna get off my lawnist. Right.
Even before I was an anarchist.
Yeah. Well, I was going to make this specific distinction for anybody who hasn't listened before, that like Seeds of Liberty to me is like a really good argument generator, and then Feens is like just libpair on the radio. It's not for. I mean, I guess it is for everybody, because you guys, there's not like a whole lot of politics like us. I mean, we pretty much just bitch. I mean, that's all we do on this show about statists and dick and fart jokes and stuff. But it's just you got kind of like, in my opinion, two different shows that you're a part of, and both of them serves a great purpose, if you know what I mean.
Wow. Well, I appreciate that. The Feens I can't take really any credit for. I just got I still with the Feens I actually still count myself extremely lucky, because I was a huge fan for a long time. I was listening for a good year and a half before. Well, at least a year before I got the chance to talk to Lou for the first time, and then we had him on the Seeds of Liberty, and then him and I became friends, and we started talking. And then he actually invited Dave, he's my only co-host now because Danilo has left us recently.
Right.
But he invited both of us on, and Dave had to cancel at the last minute, so it just ended up being me. And then Lou asked me to come back like a week or two later, and I was like, okay. And I still hadn't heard from Michael at all. Like, he hadn't shown up on either show, which I thought was really weird, because this was right after he had just started coming back more regularly, and he was at least popping in. And I was starting to take it personally. I was like, okay, I guess he doesn't like me, doesn't want to talk to me. I figured, all right, that was my last shot. And then all of a sudden on New Year's Eve, I got an email from him, just like, hey, I really like both the episodes you were on. You want to do this all the time?
Like, it was like a mind game, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
I actually heard the first show you were on, and that's how I think that's how I started following Seeds of Liberty. But I think you were talking about like the USSR or something. Maybe I'm just picking like one thing out of what you guys talked about.
No, we definitely did, because that was the first show. Lou got droned like 5 minutes into the show, and I had to do like 5+ minutes by myself. And we were reading, and he was set to read an article about what had gone, stuff that had gone on during, Stalin's reign in the USSR.
Oh yeah.
So I was just like, okay, I guess I should start reading, because I'm not going to talk to myself for however long he's gone.
Yeah.
So we definitely did talk about that for a good portion of it.
Well, I'm so freaking glad that I nailed that, because I was like scared that you're like, no, that wasn't me. That was not me. I was not that
no,
guy.
No, it was.
But anyways, so like with the Seeds of Liberty, the idea is planting seeds, right? I mean, that's what I get from it, and I mean, that's the name of it.
Yeah.
And we've been using that term just very recently as kind of like a not a pejorative necessarily, but a kind of an inappropriate term. But I want to bring.
I heard. Was it Steve? Was that the crazy redneck guy's name?
Steve was.
I
yes.
think. Yes. I heard him say it. I don't think he was saying it in the correct way, though.
That was not me. It wasn't me. It was
Steve. It was Steve. Yes.
It was Steve. So, yeah, but anyways, right. No, like I was just saying though that that. I want to bring it back down for our listeners so they understand. When we're talking about Seeds of Liberty here, it's in a good way and not any sort of pejorative. So I just wanted to say, like, so you guys you're talking about planting seeds, and I heard a show, I think it was with, I think you had Chandler on. You guys were talking about, like, with Facebook and stuff, there's a lot of people who try to utilize Facebook, I guess, to plant seeds, right? As far as libertarianism goes.
Sure.
And at some times, like, I know that, for a lot of people, it's like, I can't do this anymore because it's just nonstop statism constantly. I mean, because you're a minority as a libertarian or whatever you want to call yourself. I'm just going to say libertarian is the sweeping term here. But you're a very, low on the totem pole minority. And, you walk into these communities, you say something, or like I've noticed that one of the things that you do is you plant the seed by dropping a meme here and there, especially on that libertarian Facebook group that totally has no libertarians in it at all. I mean, literally, it's the alt-right. That's what it is. It seems like, anyways.
I don't even, honestly, most of those groups that I post in, I don't go to normally. I don't
That's
hang
a
out
wise
in
choice.
Facebook. I don't hang out in Facebook. I did for a long time. That's where I used to spend a bulk of my time in a bunch of those groups and trying to have conversations with people. And it just got tiresome. And I found other things to do. And now it's just, once I started making memes, once I started making them, and then we had, way back when on our show, we had my buddy Johnny Liberty on, who is I call him a creative genius, because him and his other buddy Ryan Butcher, these guys, the stuff these guys make, they're the ones who have they had the original American MT News and American News Network that have both been shut down repeatedly by Facebook, and they keep reincarnating. They keep reincarnating again under different things. But those two guys make some of the greatest memes and the funniest and the dankest memes I've ever seen. And Johnny kind of took me under his wing for a while and gave me a bunch of tips and gave me a bunch of programs to use and showed me how to do some stuff. And is always like that. If I ever need anything, you just send me I just send him a PM with a picture or something. I'm like, I need something to do with this that I can't do, and within an hour or two I have it back.
That's awesome.
So yeah, because it's
meme warfare, straight up.
Well, I say it all the time. Whether you like it or not, and for the longest time I resisted this, which is why I refused to get into the meme game, and I kept writing stuff, and I kept writing paragraphs and kept trying to put posts out there and get engaged with people, and I finally had to accept the fact that we live in a Twitter and meme world right now.
Oh yeah,
that is how small, how short the attention span of the average person has gotten by this point. The average person really is like a goldfish in a bowl. Every 3 seconds, it's like doo, 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 doo. Oh my god, I'm in a bowl. I'm gonna go. Oh, doo, 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 doo. Oh my god, I'm in a bowl. Oh, and they have no idea. Just completely just oblivious to everything.
Right.
So you have to hit them quickly, and it really is at the present time, one of the most effective ways to get a message across in a short amount of time. So
is dank memery. You know what though?
Yeah.
I think that what can also speak to that, and not really trying to drag politics into this necessarily, it's just I think it's a valid point. You have a video that got circulated over and over and over again of Trump saying, "Grab him by the," you know what I mean. That circulated quick, and then you have WikiLeaks releasing thousands and thousands of emails. I mean, it's got to be hundreds of thousands, right? And of all this stuff that shows you, what we already know about government, in the state. And then, but nobody's going through all those emails, reading essays. You know what I mean? They're looking at the clickbait. Donald Trump said, grab him by the pussy, however many years ago. That's what circulates. And I think that kind of just speaks to the whole concept that you're putting forth, really. And it's not even a concept. It's just you're participating in something that's already there, really. And and I've made a couple of memes, and generally they're not very good. I made one recently that was because, man, somebody came after us on our show it was on Twitter, actually. But I don't know who it was, but they were coming after us for, I guess, saying that Law and Order is bullshit. And because I think it kind of is. It's just my opinion.
Well,
yeah, under its current incarnation, yes. It's absolute bullshit.
And they came, and I basically just made the point that it really isn't, because legal is not the same as moral, and I think that any self-respecting anarchist knows that legality and morality are two completely different things. I mean, whatever your definitions of either is, but so I made this meme that was just a police officer beating the shit out of a dude, and it said "Law and Order for a Peaceful Society," and I thought that was I thought it was pretty dank, in my opinion. I mean, that's my dankest meme, so if that says anything, it's not that great, But I dropped that a couple of places, and, you see, I have some, lefty friends who latch on to stuff like that because it's still kind of like embedded in their movement. Maybe they are, well, for sure they have bad intentions, right? Like they, like with Black Lives Matter and stuff like that, not to get all in the weeds here, but they still want a state, right? They're not coming after the police for the same reasons that a libertarian would, or an anarchist, whatever. They're coming after them because what I think I heard, it was Eric July say, it's because there is a discrepancy. It's not because they want to abolish the police. It's because there is a discrepancy in how many people are getting beat,
Yeah.
which is not like, the answer is clearly we shouldn't beat people,
Yeah.
Not we. Maybe I shouldn't say we. But.
Well, yeah, I know what you meant though.
Yeah.
But they want reform. They don't want to replace or remove. They just want to reform things, tweak things a little bit, make it a little more fair.
Right.
So,
but I mean, that's not.
No, it's never going to be fair for, us, you,
right.
me, the average person. So,
yeah.
But they don't see that. They just see, because that's what, there is, unfortunate. That is the reality. There is a discrepancy as far as the amount of people who get arrested and in jail and all that stuff, like it is. But that's, that is a reality because of the way the system is set up. I won't say most, but a lot of the major issues that these same people are fighting over now, it always amazes. Well, doesn't really amaze me because, public school, but people, they have no clue that most of these things that they're fighting for were put in place to stop them. Minimum
right,
wage
exactly.
was used to put the black man down. Marriage licenses, the whole gay marriage thing was used to keep black, used for not so black people could not marry white people.
Right.
It was like all of these, that there's a long history of that. But these people fight for these very same things today because that's what they're told to fight for. That's
right.
what they're, indoctrinated. That's what they're shown. That's who they're shown the bad people are, and just the cycle continues.
Guys, we have a Patreon account. You should go check it out. Go to patreon.com/Liberty Lampoon. For $2 a month, you can actually get insider access to us and bonus episodes. There's already one bonus episode up there already, and we'll probably do more, one per month at least. So yeah, you should go do that. If you donate $2, you get mentioned on the podcast. You get well, there's perks. Go check it out. Patreon.com/Liberty Lampoon. It'd be much appreciated if you help out this show. If you feel this show is of worth value, if it's worth value to you, you should do it. So go do it. Patreon.com/Liberty Lampoon. That's Patreon.com/Liberty Lampoon. The show you love. Support us, please, or don't. Do.
Today may have pissed me off even more than yesterday.
Really?
Because I didn't have any Hillary supporters on my feed anywhere that I saw regularly. Like I have family members. Actually, I shouldn't say that. Today, one of this guy was my best friend for years. Like years. I haven't seen him in years, but we still stay in contact and stuff. And I hadn't seen anything from him in like months. And then all of a sudden today, a post comes up, and apparently he's like one of the heartbroken that Hillary did not win.
Delicious tears.
But it was just like, for the large part, I didn't have that. So I just either had anarchists who were abstaining, or I had anarchists who were going to vote for Trump, or encouraging others to vote for Trump, or at the very least wanting Trump to win. And now today we're all gloating about it. And it's just like, it was more annoying. Like, yeah, do I find liberal tears to a certain extent funny? Yes, because they brought it upon themselves.
Yeah.
However, there is only so much I can take of the gloating about it.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
certainly,
because it's not productive in any way, and I still see so many people that self-proclaimed anarchists, people I know to be anarchists, that were like so anti-Hillary that they convince themselves that it's going to be different under Trump. And like, I'm like, what evidence do you have of this? Like, that's the meme I put out today that actually didn't go very far, but now I just posted it in somebody else's thread and it's taking off there. But it was just, who is it? Was it Boromir or whoever? I forget the guy's names from the Lord of the Rings. I've read the book so many goddamn times, but I can't remember all their names. But the brace yourself one, or not Boromir. It's from not the Lord of the Rings. I'm okay tonight. Game of Thrones. It's the brace yourselves one. Winter is coming, but so it was brace yourselves. The 28th term of Wilson is coming.
Oh,
because that's what this is. It didn't matter. I've been saying this whole time it didn't matter, and a lot of people, including my friend who's really driving me up a wall these days, Jared Howe, otherwise known as Jerry One, it was like insisting that I was saying that they were like it was going to be just as bad. I'm like, no, yes, there will be differences. There will always be differences depending on whether a Republican or a Democrat gets in there. That is to keep the illusion of choice. That is to keep the illusion of consent and to keep control over people. There has to be differences, but the main agenda will be followed out. It has been followed out for well over 100 years now, and it's going to continue that path.
And besides that, people talk a lot about like the deep state and stuff like that, which I don't like really want to get super into that. But like, if you look at like Congress, even that's, however many people that is, I don't really care to know the number, but there's all these people. Do you really think that they're just going to let some guy waltz it? Like, if you believe that like Donald Trump is going to turn the system upside down and shake out the Fed and whatever, do you really believe that they're going to let just this dude just come in here and do whatever he wants? No, they're not. It's going to continue exactly the same way that it always has. And that's something that I tried to tell people. This was the first time that like I'm abstaining. This was the first time that I mean, I've been basically a libertarian for a year. I mean, that's about it.
Newly minted, huh?
Right. But it's insane, though, because whenever you finally step back, I can't believe how impossible it is for me to put myself in the shoes of somebody who's like, I'm going to go vote right now, right? Or somebody who like really believe, like these people who are crying. Like I know this is maybe antithetical to most anarchist rhetoric or whatever, but I almost feel sorry for them. Like the tears that they're shedding, because it's like, dude, you gave that guy that much power, he has this power because of you, right? You're you being upset right now is like totally evidence that that you've given this position power. And I've made the point that if a person can fuck your life up that bad, maybe you should abolish that position. That's all I'm saying is like, if you're that worried, like, because there was that whole thing going around saying that it's white privilege for people to abstain or to vote third party or whatever, you name it. And I was like, if you're saying that we have to vote for Hillary because Donald Trump winning means that your life is a living hell, that is more than enough reason for us to abolish the position, in my opinion. But I feel like I got off track from what you were trying to say. Nothing is going to change. I mean, it's 100%. Prove it. Like if the argument, I've heard arguments that, well, he's buddy with Russia, so at least we won't have a nuclear war. And what you guys you've said so on with Lou on your most recent episode of Seeds of Liberty, and actually, I think last night on the Feens, actually, like nuclear war isn't going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
It's not.
They're not. Nobody wants that shit. It's like everybody, like, that's fear mongering that so many people buy into, and it like, again, it bothers me more that a lot of people that bought into it this time around are the people who know better.
Right.
Libertarians and anarchists that I know that normally know better about this stuff. They bought into the fear mongering, and it's just.
I will say,
nobody's launching nukes at anybody.
I did a little bit buy into that, and maybe not like speaking about it, but definitely like internalizing it like a fear. And I don't think I'm the only one. I mean, there are scenarios that pop into my head, but really the only threat of like nuclear that I could ever think of would be some asshole like lone wolf gets a hold of one. And do you really think, well, I mean, you live in New York. God damn it. I was going to say, do you really think he's going to come to fucking Oklahoma where I live? He's not. So just saying.
Oh yeah, well yeah. Believe me, I need to get out of where I am. I've been saying that for years because I'm always just outside of the blast zone.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I live 45 minutes away from New York City, so
Oh fuck that.
I'm just far enough that their ridiculous regulations and laws don't affect me, but everything else about it does, including the fallout of any crap that happens there.
Right.
So. It's not a good place to be.
Well, anyways, that's just a shitty argument, and so really, I can't think of one. I can't really think of a good reason to go vote. I can't really think of any reason also that Donald Trump is
for
going
a
to be any
candidate.
better.
No, yeah, it's again, some of these people just really convinced, like just like you were saying before about how certain people pick up on crap stories and they just believe this. They keep believing this stuff. People with Trump. Oh, he's going to shut down the Fed. When did he ever say that?
Yeah, I don't remember it either.
The only thing he ever said about the Fed is he criticized the policy. He made some comment about the fact that they could do something differently. So he's not going to shut it down. And I think he may have mentioned something about the audit the Fed bills that have been passed around. I'm not positive about that. But in either case, he in no way, shape, or form ever spoke openly that at least I could find about closing the Fed. Or even really seriously about auditing it, just changing certain policies, and I think he's also a fan of keeping the interest rates low, which
because he said
solve the problem.
Yeah, I think I said that like on our last show, like that he has actually said that he wants, while interest rates are low, he wants to borrow more money. And that is. With this much money in debt, just saying, maybe it's not the right thing to do to keep maxing out your fucking credit card.
Has it hit 20 trillion yet? Or is it still at 19? I don't even know. I haven't
it's
looked
up
in a while.
It's up there.
It's insane. But yeah, he's the guy. The guy's a moron. Oh yeah, just keep him low. Yeah, that'll be good. More people take loans that way. No, see, that's what the problem. That's what didn't work last time.
Right.
I talked about that we talked about that on our recent Feens show with when I was on with Jim Jesus about the fact that so many people were, convinced that QE, and I was actually one of them. I bought into the fact that QE, what was it, 3 or 4 at that point, was going to be the final straw. It was going to destroy it. That was going to break the dollar.
Yeah.
And they did it, but nobody bid on the loan, bid on taking up loans at that point, because they were all like, well, yeah, interest rates are still low, but it's like everybody else is starting to realize how horrible this is, that interest rates are still low.
Yeah.
So nobody wants to take the risk, and a lot of people don't have the money right now. So, or like the collateral, or even the thought of being able to pay it back. So like, yeah, no, I can't do it. So nobody took that money. So all that money they printed didn't get put into circulation yet. So that's still sitting around somewhere.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, yeah. Jim was. I talked to Jim about that, and that was.
It's just sitting there, like, let's just wait until Donald Trump takes over the presidency, or whatever.
That theory, I was gonna that leads to one of those theories that's been floated a bunch, that the reason Trump, the conspiracy that people want to believe that Trump was put in there for a reason was because they're going to let the system collapse under him. Or somebody like him, which does make the most sense if and when, because we did talk about that on our most recent episode. I think Dave was the one who brought it up, that they can crash the system whenever they want.
Right,
if
just by raising interest rates, even.
Yeah, they could. Yeah, there's a myriad of ways they could collapse the system. They could do it whenever they want. They don't want to yet because they're making a crap load of money off this. All the wealth is getting transferred from the individual citizenry to the power elite and the bankers. That's the money just constantly keeps flowing to them, and while they get to collect real wealth, we kept getting we the collective, the royal we kept getting handed back, fiat money that just keeps devaluing every single day, and but people just, oh no, we'll just keep it going.
It's okay. Just let it go a little bit longer.
There's nothing we can do about it. But so they could pull the plug, but they have no intention on it.
Right.
So they know what they could be doing, but they're not going to do anything about it.
I don't remember what show I heard this on. I feel like we've just constantly keep like hearkening back to other shows during this, but whatever, it doesn't matter. Information is information. That's the bottom line. So this idea, I heard it thrown out there that that actually, Donald Trump is technically bad for libertarians in the sense that most lefties and most Republicans out there, they associate Republicans with free markets, right? And even though it's, that's total bullshit, right? It's not free market. Especially Trump. I mean, I think that you think there's a good case there that he is totally not for free markets in the least bit.
He's an admitted. I try to tell people this all the time, and they want to deny it so badly. He's an admitted crony capitalist. And what is a crony capitalist? A crony capitalist is a fascist. Yeah. Crony capitalism is the vehicle for fascism.
Yeah.
So he's an admitted guy. If you don't like the term fascist, if that triggers you in any way, because so many people get mad when I use that term when it comes to him. But I'm like, okay, fine. He's an admitted crony. He's admitted to using the system repeatedly to get where he is right now.
Right, things that we literally frown upon, like other individuals doing. He did it. He used the state, basically, right?
Yes.
So go ahead.
What's the difference? What's the difference between him and the bigger corporations that most anarchist volunteers, just Austrian economists, or people that are into that theory, that I know, that would see any, like they say, corporations inherently aren't bad. It's just the state creates them. But if you want to have companies or whatever, that's, private companies, just as long as they don't have these special protections and stuff, and they're not able to get away with all these things. Okay, well, what's the difference between the bad corporations that we all agree are bad and him doing the same damn thing with his corporations? Where's the difference? Why are you giving him a pass? No, the guy's a bad dude. He's always been a bad dude. He's not a shrewd businessman. He may have some skill in that arena. I mean, as apparently that isn't Art of the Deal still like the greatest selling business book of all time or something
like that. Doesn't mean shit though, dude. People buy anything, any book like that.
Oh no, exactly. That's what I'm saying. But even if he is a good businessman, he's still, like the people who suck Elon Musk's dick. The guy's a welfare fucking whore, man. Fuck that. That guy takes so much fucking taxpayer money. Fucking SpaceX is private bullshit. It's the new NASA.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me? It's like fucking, I think it's like 40+% funded by goddamn taxpayer dollars.
That's awesome, dude.
People are so retarded.
Yeah. But the thing is, too, what you're saying, I feel like you need to understand that you're talking to some anarchists. I've heard some anarchists, like praising and worshiping Elon Musk. I've heard anarchists praising and worshiping Donald Trump. Well, I don't think I think that immediately takes the term anarchist away from them, because in my opinion, every anarchist that I know thinks critically, right? Maybe I should get back to the term libertarian so that people have a lot of listeners who are, that's the word that they understand. So every libertarian that I know generally thinks critically. Small L, libertarian. God damn it. These terms, dude. These terms. These names.
And that's why I don't use any of them anymore. It's much simpler.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what to call them then. Z?
Well, no, libertarians, unfortunately, it's just, it is the catch. It's the closest catch-all for most of them. So, what are you going to do?
Yeah. Anyways, as I was saying, there's a lot of them that are all on board with Elon Musk and all on board with Donald Trump, which I just automatically disqualifies them. And it's like they still need to be taken further down the rabbit hole, or they were just never there ever. You know what I mean? And And I understand some people's opinions on like, okay, well, would one of these people be less bad? I understand like if you're looking from the outside in, maybe, but at the same time, I think it still stands to reason that everything's going to be exactly the same. There is no evidence that anything has ever changed. I mean, government has grown from the inception of this country. It has not shrunk.
Yeah.
It just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And that's because people are so willing to say, I want to use the state for this to get X, right? And that is what just continually happens. It doesn't matter. Even if the person goes in with good intentions, I think it would still end up being that they go for power, right? That's just the way that it is.
Well, yeah. That's the way the system's designed. It's designed to continue growing.
Yeah.
It can't, it can't not continue to feed itself.
God damn. I was thinking like we were going to be like, we just bitched. We've just been bitching. I was like going to be talking about, well, I guess we talked about dank memes. That's pretty good.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Hey, all you Hillary supporters that listen to this podcast, I understand that you're upset. So I figured we'd get Greg to go ahead and play you a song. So Greg, go ahead and play them a song. I figure it's probably going to be good for them to hear some just soothing music. No, Greg, no. Greg, shut it off. This is not a good song, Greg. Greg, please just shut it off. Greg, you're making it worse. They're crying. Miley Cyrus is crying. I'm so sorry. I'm very, very sorry, guys. I understand you're in pain, but Greg is just an insensitive, very, very insensitive man. So, but it's okay. It's okay. Don't worry. It's not the end of the world. So, and I know that this is like a Ben Stone thing, and I know I know that you have personally talked about this a lot, but it's something that I want my listeners to hear about. So there's this idea of civil disobedience, right? And I think you can see that in a lot of different places right now in society with leftist ideologies generally, where like I'm just gonna go ahead and put the North Dakota pipeline protest in there. Okay, where they're kind of like that's civil disobedience. I'm just going to put a blanket statement on there and say that is civil disobedience. And it's like breaking the law for the sake of making a statement that the law is ridiculous, maybe, and then in an effort to endorse the system to change the law. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I would.
Okay, so, but you have spoken about the idea of, if you're comfortable talking about this, but the idea of
I talk about it all the time. Go for it.
Okay. The idea of non-compliance, right?
Yes.
The way that I tried to explain it to some friends of mine was that I really hope this isn't dumbing it down. If it is, you can just say I'm just full of shit. Okay. The idea that I had of it is like, okay, in the state of Oklahoma, right? They have sales tax laws through the roof, right? There's all these different sales tax. I mean, local, city, state, whatever, all here, And so in order to avoid that, you can just order from Amazon and not report any of the items that you bought and then not pay taxes on them, right? Mm-hmm. Would you consider that a form of non-compliance? I mean, the littlest form?
Sure.
Really?
Any time you are overtly, or in this case, kind of hiding it, I guess. But anytime you are purposefully, anytime you're purposely flaunting a law like breaking a law like that for that reason, because you don't, and because you're not actually hurting any of the process, so it is it's a non-violent crime,
right?
Or victimless crime. Sorry, I'm all right tonight. Victimless crime. Then yeah. As long as you're doing it with the mindset that you're not just doing this because you have a problem with this part of the system. You have a problem with the system as a whole, because the definition that you used for civil disobedience, like I said, I agree with. And the most important part about that is the use of the system to get what you want. Because every definition that I've come across, from like Merriam's to the one that just pops up on Google to like all all definitions I come across of civil disobedience all have the same phrase in it, or some variation of the phrase. It is not a rejection of the system.
Right.
It specifically states that it is not. So any act of civil disobedience, if you, and this I try to impart especially to the people who the voting is violence crowd, which I don't agree with. I've had a lot of arguments with people about this whole idea. But the people that take these extreme positions on other things, but they don't see it when it comes to this. It's like, no, if you're going to take that extreme position here, then no, you can't be involved in this. No.
Right. So could I say this? In a way, it's like civil disobedience is actually a means to an end within the system, whereas non-compliance is jumping from you have the problem and you just jump to the end. Like, would you say that? Maybe, like you're skipping the means technically, right? Because go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, because you're actually going to take action. Because most civil disobedience, most acts of civil disobedience are protests. That's the most common form of civil disobedience.
Right.
When they're told to back down, when they're told, and they stand there or whatever, but they end up all of those people go in fully aware that they can be, and in a lot of cases most likely will be, arrested and or injured in the process. They go in knowing that, expecting that, and being okay with that in order to further their cause.
Right.
When you're engaging in non-compliance, you have no plans of getting caught. That is not your intention.
Yeah.
You are not I don't go out in the street and do certain things just to break the law, to be non-compliant. No, I don't. I avoid certain things. I break as many victimless crime laws as I possibly can when I know I'm not an immediate threat of getting a gun pulled on me.
Right, because if that happens, there, cost benefit analysis wise, that would be retarded. And if you call yourself if you call yourself some form of a capitalist or something, it's like completely ignoring that idea. You know what I mean? You're saying, I want to be out money or dead.
Yes, exactly.
I get it.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of a misunderstanding.
It's a mindset. It's really just a mindset thing. That's all it is. And it's, like I said, it's what your goal is. And my goal in doing it is to, number one, be as free as I possibly can right now. And number two, try to encourage other people to do the same thing.
Right. That's what I'm interested in. Is I'm super interested in freedom right now. Okay.
Yeah, I know. You should be.
Yeah.
I wish more anarchists who claim they're about freedom were more interested in it right now, to the point that they'd want to do some stuff about it.
Right.
And not just and not the crazy ones that just get all amped up and talk about revolution. I'm like, you mofos are crazy. Do you have any idea about history? No.
It's not going to work.
There's a reason it never works. Just no. There has to be a different way.
They don't even have to expend troops anymore. They can just send a robot. They have recently, So
yeah, man. It's not. But this way it can be done if more people do it. Just get out. Get out there, because you really only need. I say this all the time. You really only need 8 to 10% of any given population, whether that's the entire country, whether it's a state, whether it's a county, whether it's a city, whether it's a neighborhood, whatever. You really only need that in any given population to working at an almost religious level, have that much a religious passion for what they're doing, to change that population, to change that culture, to change that society. That's historically proven too. That's really all you need. And you get that many people in any given area just saying no to whatever laws that are there that are just hampering, people's existence and are actually a detriment to society, which are most of them. Just saying no, there's nothing that they can the system can do about that. They will get overloaded so quickly because there are still only about approximately 1.1 million law enforcement officers in the country. There's approximately 1.3 military, National Guard, and vets, maybe, I think. Was my buddy who just got out told me something like that. Yeah, I think the number is like 2.4, or maybe I think we ended up rounding to like 3 million.
Jeez,
3 million.
As many
in
guns
a country in a country of over 300 million guns in the hands of private owners, and in a country of over 330 million people. They are outnumbered 110 to 1. I think, or something like that. Okay, they can't do anything if that many people just start saying no. And the majority of people out there, even the statists, even the indoctrinated, even the ones that don't see most of the problems, by nature they are followers. And this is not a knock on them. This is human nature as it's currently constructed. And human nature is fluid. It is not permanent, but as it has been currently set for a while now, that is just nature. Most people are followers. Yeah. And that's why you only need 8 to 10% of a culture or whatever to start changing at this, and proselytizing and whatever to get these ideas out there. And once people see the results, they see that nothing happens to them because they're working in numbers now. They're working together. They're helping each other. I talk about this with the ideas of the human shields that have happened. I think I heard you talk about it recently. That they've happened. They've happened at the BLM events, right?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. They had happened before that. In separate instances. I had read about a couple of them in Florida, one in Philly, I think, and possibly one in Detroit, long before BLM became a thing. And that's where I got the idea from. I'm like, this is brilliant. Like, why aren't more people doing this? Like, this is like, these are type of things that we can, and it's just, all it's really doing is helping your fellow man.
Right.
So even for you people who don't want to break the law out there, but love the idea of doing a good thing, here you go. Here's the best possible thing you can do. What are the best possible thing you could do for this particular person at this point in their life? If they're about to be harassed, handcuffed, taken off in a car and thrown in a cage by a bunch of silly people in uniform. Yes, but in silly uniforms. Like, all you have to do is surround that person with 10 people.
Right.
And just stand there and say, "No, officer, sorry.
No, this is not happening."
And he calls for backup. Okay, you get 10 more. Like, this has happened, and it can happen, and they have to back down because they can't afford to be shooting that many people at once.
Right. Yeah, because it's bad optics. They know that the entire population could rise up against them.
Yes, but that's the point. Once that happens, some people will be pissed off, obviously, and the really hardcore law abiders. But other people who've been on the fence for a long time will see that and go, "Wait a minute. Well, if they can't do it, if they can do it, why can't I? Or why can't we? Or whatever." Like, and that is how you change things, and that is how you change things non-violently as well.
Right.
And once you have that shift going, the bandwagon effect kicks in, and it's just like and to appeal to constitutionalists, you want to appeal to those folks. Okay, how did the whole revolution go down? Was it all the most of the people here were like, yeah, we have to fight against these guys? No. It was a tiny number of people that were really pissed off.
Right.
And that's what the 3%ers, that's where it came from. Only 3% of the goddamn population gave enough of a shit to want to actually fight back against Britain at that point.
Yeah, it's like
through the war. Well, I was just gonna say through the war, it wasn't like they changed all these people's all these people realized what was going on and said, "Oh my God, they were right. We have to help them." No, they just went with the flow.
Right.
They got swept up with the emotion. It happens over and over and over again throughout history. That's just the way, again, people are. They get swept up and then, okay, this is the new route we're going. This is what these people say. And they're talking a good game. And it sounds like we're going to get a lot more benefits out of this. We're going to be freer or whatever it is. Okay, let's do it. you know, not really putting as much thought into it as possibly the people who came up with this idea or whatever. But, you know, but like, so you don't need that many people. That's the bottom line.
Yep.
So many people think, oh, we got to, and which is why so many people turn back to voting after they think that they're done with it. And they say, but we won't have another choice. Like, what else are we supposed to do? We can't not vote. Sure you can. It takes 50, even if you want to believe the system can work to your advantage, you still need, what, 51% of the vote to win.
Well, not even just that. I mean, you have to understand that you're against all odds in, like, especially like, okay, in my state, polar opposite of your state, okay? I mean, every single county went for Donald Trump. Every single one. There was not a single county that went for Hillary Clinton, right? So if you are a Democrat here, and you're like, I'm going to change things from the inside. No, you're not. You're not. Your vote literally doesn't mean shit.
Yeah.
Well, I think we need to close this bitch down, Jeremy.
Yes.
What you got plugs? I need plugs. Give me plugs.
Plug.
You know websites?
Right.
You got websites?
Yeah, I got websites, man. Yeah, so I could either be all of my stuff can either be found at theseedsofliberty.com. That's links to all of our, like, you know, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all of our crap. We have a ton of crap on YouTube, although they keep taking our stuff down lately.
Really?
Apparently. It has to be Jared's song because our friend Jared Howe, who is one of the voluntarist rappers, did a song for us at one point after we had him on the show, and then that became our theme song.
Yeah.
And our intro music, and all of a sudden we've been like 3 of our episodes have been pulled in the last month or so, and they were older. A couple of them were older ones, but we've been using the same song in every episode for like, and I don't know. I don't remember using any other. The only other music I use is I have ads in there now, which are almost all. I think they're all Feens ads actually.
Yeah.
So they're all made by Michael, which means they're all his music.
I've just been
so
putting
I'm like,
music.
who the hell is copywriting us?
Yeah, I just put music in there, and then if I see that YouTube pulls it, I'm just like, fuck it. I don't even care. We don't get any views on YouTube anyways, so.
So yeah, so theseedsofliberty.com, yeah, that's where you can find all that stuff. Or thefreedomfiends.com is where I'm at the rest of the time, because I usually do at least 2 shows a week there.
Dude, you did 5 shows last week.
Actually, technically, I did 6 shows last week because I did 4 Feens, the Seeds of Liberty, and another project that we just started. But that's, we'll wait. We'll wait on announcing that one. We're still working out some kinks on that. But yeah, I regularly do 4 shows a week now, scheduled.
I always tell myself that I want to do that, and then I get into editing because I do a lot of editing for this show, which this will be edited too. I mean.
Listen, well, okay, well then fine. I'm not. Oh, I won't kiss your ass. Then I was just about to kiss your ass, but if you're not going to put it in there, then there's no point.
No, I will. I was just kidding. I was just making a joke.
No, I told you. I contacted you a couple weeks ago. I told you I've been listening for a while.
Yeah,
and the quality is I mean, it's better than mine. And like I said, I'm having issues with the services we use. They're degrading the quality somewhat, but. I can step it up a little bit. I've been kind of lazy because I do so many other things that I just haven't spent as much time on editing. But no, your quality is excellent. And,
working on it still, though. Thanks for coming on, Jeremy. I really appreciate your service in joining us on Liberty Lampoon.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me.
Hey, guys. Hey, guys. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much.
And a big thank you to Jeremy Henggeler. Thanks for coming on.
Jeremy Henggeler.
Anyways, if you'd like to help out the show, make sure that you go check us out on iTunes and give us a good rating, a good review.
Yep. Check us. You can now hear us broadcasting on the LRN.FM network, as well as ipmNation and FPRN. And you can also like us, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, at Liberty Lampoon. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Liberty Lampoon. Come back and feel the rush of freedom next week. And until then, remember to be free and go vote.
Don't vote.